These women have done some terrible things, but their reactions to a life sentence are even more shocking. In this video, you're going to see the reactions of 7 dangerous female convicts when they hear that they'll be spending the rest of their lives in prison. Some of them seem relieved, while others absolutely lose it, but all of them are stunned by the news. Mitchelle Blair.
What I did was unusual, but it's normal for me. Nobody know. All y'all know is what I did. All I know is why I did it.
Mitchelle Blair pleaded guilty in 2015 for killing her 2 children, and as a result received a life sentence without parole. That year, a shocking discovery was made when an eviction notice led authorities to the apartment of Mitchelle Blair in Detroit. Inside her freezer were 2 bodies. The children were identified as Blair's kids, Stephen Barry and Stoney Blair. The medical examiner ruled their deaths homicides and determined that they had been in the freezer for at least a couple of years. And before being hidden away, they were beaten, burned, and killed. During her trial, Blair told the judge that she did not feel any remorse over her actions. There was no other option. There's no excuse for rape. I would kill them again. They are demons. Bani Duarte. In October 2010, 29-year-old Bani Duarte of San Clemente was sentenced to over 50 years in prison for her role in a tragic 2018 DUI crash. The crash violently took 3 Las Vegas teenagers from this world and left another with devastating injuries. The teenagers were enjoying spring break in Huntington Beach when a Hyundai Sonata that Duarte was driving collided with the stopped Toyota Corolla carrying 4 teens. The impact was so great that it pushed the car into a pole and caused an inferno to erupt. During trial, the parents did not hold back and let Duarte know what they thought, saying, "You are an ugly, heartless, cold monster, and that's all you ever will be." She had no regard for human life and the effects her actions could have on others. Brooke has been dead for 700 days today. I've missed my daughter. I've missed my daughter for 700 days. When she heard her sentence, Duarte broke down in tears and asked all the families for their forgiveness.
In the right state of mind, mentally and emotionally. I didn't think further into the consequences. I just want to say that I'm truly sorry, and maybe one day you will forgive me.
Shelby Isaac. In 2017, 19-year-old Shelby Isaac received a 30-year prison sentence for the gruesome killings of Eddie Tate, Edwina Thomas, and their 8-week unborn baby. 2 years before, Isaac had bought hair weaves from Tate. She set up a meeting under the guise of buying more, but she actually intended to get her money back. After Tate pulled up in a car with his girlfriend, Isaac opened fire on the car, Smith argued to the jury.
Stand. You got one of the verdict to read, we the jury find the defendant guilty of second-degree murder.
During the guilty verdict, Isaac collapsed and kept crying out, "Mommy." Eventually, she had to be taken from the courtroom. Kayla Rae Norton. The Georgia court handed down 35-year sentences to Kayla Rae Norton and Jose Ishmael Torres for their egregious 2015 hate crime. The couple had driven an intimidating convoy of trucks, each bearing Confederate flags, towards the Douglasville residence, where the family was celebrating their son's 8th birthday party. Norton and Torres' presence stoked fear in those present. The couple were members of a group called Respect the Flag and were joined by a caravan of other people who shouted at adults and children that they would kill y'all in words while proudly displaying Confederate flags. In court, Norton showed remorse for her action.
I'm done. I know I was in the wrong. But I want you all to know that that is not me. That is not me. That's not him. I would never walk up to you and say those words to you, and I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Judge McClain delivered a powerful message to the defendants, reminding them that their actions had occurred in close proximity to Dylan Roof's tragic massacre of 9 black men and women at an iconic church. His heinous crimes resulted in his recent sentence, the death penalty. Ky'andrea Cook, 18 years old at the time, was sentenced to 20 years in prison after she used a dating app to set up a robbery that led to a teenager being shot. Detectives believe that the teen used the Meet Me phone app to lure victims to the area where they would be carjacked and/or robbed by male suspects. As Judge Matthew Foxman read out her daughter's sentencing of 20 years, Ky'andrea Cook's mother collapsed abruptly in the courtroom. The poignant cries echoed throughout.
She did 20 years in state prison.
The punishment exceeded expectations, leaving the mother and daughter in shock. Afterwards, Judge Foxman saved Cook from a 20-year jail sentence with his ruling, as he determined that there had been a miscommunication between Cook and her attorney during the initial plea. As a result, there was a revision to the plea deal. This time, Cook was sentenced to 11 years in prison in a pair of carjacking cases. Camia Gamet.
In Muskie and Sam. And I'll tell you, you gutted him like a fish in that apartment too. You were relentless. You stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed, you stabbed until he was dead.
Judge Bain was horrified by the heinous murder of Camia Gamet's boyfriend, Marcel Hill. Gamet was 32 at the time and had infamously gutted her boyfriend, stabbing him 11 times with a fillet knife. She also subjected him to an excruciating beating beforehand, with common household items such as a frying pan and a lamp. For this horrible crime, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During her sentencing hearing, Judge McBain let her know that the killing was one of the worst cold-blooded murders he'd ever seen.
With the family, I hope you die in prison as well.
Gamet refused to admit guilt, claiming that the charges were false and that she had acted in self-defense. However, her claim was not supported by evidence. No visible signs of a struggle could be found on her body. While Hill's aunt was talking, Gamet interrupted her.
Is that it? When I finish, I'll let you know. Oh, okay. Seriously?
And you're gonna shut your mouth or I'm gonna have some duct tape put on it.
Afterwards, Hill's aunt received applause and Gamet was taken away. Shayna Hubers. Life in prison. That's the sentence Judge Daniel Zala delivered to Shayna Hubers for the October 12, 2022 murder of her boyfriend Ryan Poston. Ryan Poston was a talented Kentucky attorney with a promising future. His life tragically came to an end when his obsessive girlfriend, Shayna Hubers, shot him 6 times in cold blood, killing him. The reason? He was planning on leaving her. Hubers and Poston met in 2011 through Facebook. By April 2012, 6 months before the killing, they were in the midst of what was at least their 3rd breakup. Poston, according to testimony, sent a text message to a friend that month. "This is getting to be restraining order level crazy," he said. Hubers, on the other hand, claimed she shot Ryan Poston in self-defense, but a jury found her guilty of murder.
He was laying with his face on the table, like twitching. And so I knew he was going to die. A very slow and painful death.
Not only had she waited more than 15 minutes after the shots were fired before calling an ambulance, but during her interrogation she said more than a few strange things. She also started to sing, and they thought that she was singing, "I did it." Hear for yourself. Hearing her sentence, she started crying.
Jury, find the defendant, Shayna Hubers, guilty of murder.
She looked back at her family and said, "I love you," knowing she will never get out of prison again. And that's it for today. We truly hope you enjoyed our video about these female convicts reacting to their life sentences. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts with us in the comments. Be sure to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any courthouse updates from this channel. We'll see you soon for an all-new case, so stay tuned until then.